we will put a leash, cuffs, shackles, yokes, chains, rings on the necks of those who disbelieve.
The word aghlal in the verse refers to the rings around the neck. Aghlal means chains and shackles around the neck. Aghlal is the plural form of the word gul. Gul means the chains on the necks, hands, and feet of the captives. Hassan B. Salih says that gul means one hand and safit means both hands tied together around the neck.
And on that day, you will see the sinners handcuffed and in chains.
Asbat narrates from El-Sudi that El-Asfad in this verse means the two hands tied around the neck. Mamer narrates from Qatada that Mukarinin fil Asfad in the 49th verse of Surah El-Ibrahim means that the sinners are bound together with chains. Ibn Abu Hatim reports that Musa ibn Abu Ayyesha said in his commentary on the verse,
"The one who was protected from evil punishment, feeling safe on the day of resurrection with his face instead of his hands, because his hands were tied."
Their hands will be tied around their necks with rings in hell, and they will suffer the torment with their faces. So they cannot protect their faces with their hands. Whatever torment comes, they face it.
Indeed, with us are heavy fetters, heavy chains and strong bonds, and a fiery flame burning fiercely.
Mujahid, Ikrimah, Hassan, and some other scholars say that the word ankal means footbands. According to Hassan, they are footbands of fire. According to Abu Imran el-Juwayni, they are footbands that Allah will not untie forever. And according to Abu Saleh, they are long footbands, chains, and rings. Fayyad b. Ishaq narrates that Fudail b. Iyad said,
"Take hold of him, bind him, handcuff him."
70,000 angels rush to handcuff him. Whichever angel puts the ring around his neck will be successful. Sufyan Bashir narrated that Nauf el-Shami said in his commentary on the verse,
"Then put him in chains, whose length is 70 archines."
The length of the throne is 70 ba. 1 ba is the distance between Kufa and Mecca. In other words, the length of the chain that the infidel in hell will be chained to is 4,900 times this distance. The distance between Kufa and Mecca is about 1,714 kilometers. 70 cubits of chain is 4,900 ba, i.e. 1 ba equals 1,714 kilometers times 4,900, which equals 8,398,600 kilometers. The length of the 70 cubits of chain of hell is approximately 8,398,600 kilometers.
Catch him and handcuff him, then throw him into the flaming fire and burn him. Then bind him with a chain 70 archines long. For he did not believe in Allah the Almighty. He was not a supporter of giving food to the poor.
In this verse, the word silsilah is mentioned, and it means chain, anything that is connected to each other, forming a line.
We have prepared for the disbelievers chains, shackles, iron rings, bindings, fetters, blades, and a blazing fire. When shackles will be around their necks and chains on their legs, they will be dragged.
The word salasil is used in these verses. Salasil is the plural form of the word silsila. Salasil means chains, series. Salasil refers to several structures consisting of chains and derivatives that are interconnected and form a sequence. It is clear from the verses and hadiths that these are rings, yokes, shackles, chains, and ties in hell, which are called aghal, ankal, and silsilah. And at the same time, there are several structures in hell that are connected to each other and form rows. What are these? The sun has a photosphere layer, and in this layer there are millions of different granules. Within these different granules there are ring-shaped granules, bright spots. These bright spots expand into rings at a speed of 2 kilometers per second and then disintegrate. This process takes about 10 minutes. In the active areas of the photosphere, there are also chains of bright granules that form the fibers of the photosphere torches. At first glance, the infernal rings are the granules of the sun's surface, while the infernal chains are the bright granules in the active regions of the photosphere that form the fibers of the photosphere torches. However, we see these rings moving in the photosphere of the sun. Different kinds of rings are also visible in the chromosphere layer of our Earth star. The originals of these secret rings in hell will be put on the necks of the people of hell. Here we observe the granulation of the photosphere, the visible surface of the sun. The yellow areas of the granules are warmer than the red areas. The dark areas between the granules are cooler areas. The bright spots in these dark areas are intensely strong magnetic fields. The strength of the magnetic field exceeds the strength of the Earth's magnetic field by a factor of about 3,000. In these small areas, which are only a few hundred kilometers in diameter, these bright spots are pressing the outward bulge plasma within the strong magnetic fields. Because of the higher temperature there, these bright spots appear brighter than other granules. For scale, the white stripe below is equal to 5,000 kilometers on the sun's surface. The bright spots are about 100 kilometers long and endure for about 30 minutes. Some of the bright spots occur side by side in dark loops between granules. These bright spots are called watermarks. Watermarks are considered to be the places where the tubes penetrate the photosphere. A watermark is a chain of gold, silver, and other metallic wires. These long strands of watermarks between granules are heavy bonds with very strong magnets. There are bright areas in or near active regions of the solar chromosphere, called beaches. On these beaches, there are long, thin, jagged, and twisted chains of small, low-contrast bright spots, called watermarks. The originals of these and other chains will be the Salasil chains, with which the people of hell will be struck there. The word Salasil are used in verses 4 of Surah El-Human and 71 of Surah El-Ghafir. Refers to a structure whose parts are connected to each other to form a sequence of derivatives. These bright spots are derivatives with magnetic fields of 1,400 Gauss and a diameter of 100 kilometers. Bright spots are bright because they have intense magnetic fields and there is a very high temperature. The strong magnetized derivatives of hell, namely the Eglal, Enkal, and Salasil, have much stronger magnetic fields and heat than these bright tethers and points of the sun. Therefore, the people of hell can never remove these tormenting instruments of torture from their bodies. Celestial, which is defined as an object consisting of derivatives whose parts are connected to each other and form a row, are filigree magnetic strong bond chains that appear side by side in the dark areas between the granules and create a row of bright dots. The people of hell will be struck with rings, handcuffs, bonds, and chains by these series of high temperature and powerful magnetic bright dots.
And we will put a funnel around the necks of those who disbelieve,